personally, I really enjoy your work. I was really impressed. We didn't have, well, when this server started, obviously, the level of the artists increased, like the professional level increased, like the artists become better and better. We had more artists, we had more variety, and now we are seeing artists like with really impressive skills and varied skills. And this particular project that you did was catch my eye, and I'm really glad that you're doing this for us, so thank you in the first place. um, and what I want to know is what inspired you, what artist inspired you, what characters or franchises, whatever, that inspired you to do this kind of styles or this kind of method that you work now.
Okay, sweet. So, I guess the short answer and the easiest way to say this would probably be, I've loved a lot of games. Like, what got me first into art was Dungeons and Dragons, and just going through the monster manual and seeing all the amazing designs for different creatures. But what got me into trying to make a character like this is the work of artists like Baldi, Canadian, and the concept artists that worked on Darks, like Darksiders and Diablo. I almost said Dark Souls there, but Dark Souls is another really amazing inspiration, just not quite as stylized and poppy as this stuff. I also like Doom and Doom Eternal. They also had really cool, vibrant art styles.
That's cool. So a really quick question that I had from Frisky is, how old are you? You can share with us.
I am 23.
It's great, man.
All right.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say. To
Why?
be so young.
Okay.
Why? Say why? No, don't take us serious, man.
Yes.
We are older.
Yeah, we are all older. Yeah. So, can you talk a bit more about this Dungeons and Dragons inspiration, and a bit about?
Yep. Okay. So this particular creature design that I came up with was inspired by, in particular, the Quasit, which is a kind of really low-level demon that's known for being like fairly shifty and unpredictable, and quite a trickster. He's not quite as well known as the typical imp, which is like that red-skinned, bat-winged little monster. This guy is just a gross little freak that gets into trouble and is always kind of forgotten about. But I think that he's I should have found a picture for him. He's like a green toad bat-like creature, very much like the kind of guy I made here. Only I made him blue, and called him an imp, which would probably upset the little thing. But that's just that guy. For this, what's the next question?
The next question. We don't have any questions, right?
Okay. All right.
So you can carry on, and I'll catch you up. I would like you to explore a bit more of your world. Is that all that you said? Because yeah.
Okay, so I can talk about why I started making this and sort of what project he was initially meant for. This guy started out as a monster for this. I think it started out as a game jam, or it might have been evolved from another concept that we'd started making in first year. But we had this idea for sort of like an action-packed, first-person melee combat platformer sort of game, kind of like if you took the motion and dashing of Doom Eternal and the art style of Darksiders and the vibrancy of that, but then put it into a melee-oriented combat system, kind of like what you see in, I think it was Vermintide, where you'd be this badass demon champion charging around the battlefield, leaping and flying and slashing and slicing up all these epic things. But the starting monster that we came up with was just one of these little imps and another bulkier demon that I haven't finished up to this level yet. And we didn't have the required animation skills and talents on the team. We didn't have necessarily all the things that we actually needed to complete this really daunting project. So I've
We all
just
been there, man.
exactly.
Don't worry. We all been there. We've all been trying to become like the next Rockstar
Right.
company, or
It's a pretty impossible feat trying to come up with Doom Eternal right out of university with a team of 6 guys.
yeah,
But you can put one of these little guys in a game at this point. I think I've really gotten him up to a really high standard.
yeah.
If we can talk about, I guess, this, in order to start making him, I had to do some sketches. I knew his role in the game was going to be this like little cringing.
Before
What's
you
next?
you start with the design,
All right.
I would like to just give it a bit of moment to ask the audience if they want to post any questions, because it's going to be more interesting if you actually make your questions, and we
All right. We gotta give some time
may put
for
it some, yeah,
to breathe a
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Frisky and Coro are already yeah. So Frisky is asking you, where are you from, and where did you study, and yeah.
I'm from Ontario, Canada. I'm around the Toronto, Oshawa area. I studied in Oshawa, and at Ontario Tech is what it's called now. It used to be called UOIT, but I took the Game Development and Entrepreneurship program, and it gave me a really broad set of disciplines to learn from, and really opened my eyes to all the different aspects of working in the games industry. Even if I only really had the focus into game art, I know a little bit about everything now.
That's very interesting. We've been speaking, for you guys, if you don't know, we've been speaking, preparing this presentation for, we had 2 sessions, and I didn't know this, and this is actually very interesting. What does an entrepreneur as for games need to know, basically? What are the foundations of that? Can you just sum it up for us?
Okay. So what a portion of our program was about was things like project management. It was things like how to set up a company, how to start as like an independent studio, how to do accounting, and how to interact with accountants. And so we all learned about setting up Gantt charts, building up pitches and documentations to sell your products and game concepts to larger studios to secure more funding. So far, I've put a lot of this info to really good use, and I've taken games that I've been working on to win, I think at this point, 2 pitch contests, and maybe I think the grand total is something like $3,000 of funding from various prizes. So I'm
How much? Sorry, how much?
$3,000 for one game I'm working on, and then I also got 1,500 to work on something over the summer in my first year. So I'm quite good at pitching things I'm passionate about and like coming up with good
Yeah.
ideas. At least that's what my
So-
friends say.
So, guys, this is 2-on-1. We actually thought we are talking to a guy that just knows how to create cool models, but we also have like a lesson of entrepreneurship and how to create your own company. I see.
Yeah.
With this in 3DCA, you always get these nice surprises.
I didn't mention this to Kwashu earlier.
It's a surprise, and it's
Yeah.
an Easter egg. Like it's like
Right.
as you, when you get old, it's difficult to get surprised, so you need to really ramp up to make it the impact.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The
Go on.
game we're working on now with my little studio, it's called Insanity Core, and we're making this game called Blight, and it's this 2D action beat 'em up game where it's going to be like a dungeon crawler, but the twist is that it's competitive. It's competitive and cooperative, in that you're all trying to compete to complete your quest first, before your other players do. But you can't attack them. You can't attack each other. You can only sabotage and spawn monsters to affect each other's progress. But
So it's like a fantasy mafia game,
Yeah.
right?
And here's the kicker. Once you complete your quest, you become the final boss of the game, and everyone gets summoned to the boss room, and you get transformed into the boss to take on everyone else in the game with you.
That's interesting. So we established that you are more than just an artist, right?
Right.
You are kind of a director, and you establish the foundations for the project.
Right.
So you're in your university, and you come up with the idea to create a game, right?
Yeah.
And this game, this game, you come up with the idea for the game, right?
Yeah.
And you established the style. The style was based on things that you liked,
Yeah.
and then you found the people to work with you, and you work as a character artist for the game, right?
Yep, I work as a character artist for the game, and I also do animations, and I lead the two other artists to create concepts and visual effects that suit the vision, and
Okay.
also the environment art too.
So now you have your project established,
Yep.
and you're starting on your project, and the main thing for your project is the main character, which is this one that you were working on.
Oh no,
Am I
no,
correct?
this is not the main character at all. This is a this guy is kind of like a grunt. He's like a really weak enemy type in the game. That was his intended vision. He was supposed to attack you in like big groups and swarm you. They'd if we had like a good technical animator, I'd love to have him able to crawl over each other and just swarm you, all just ravenous to devour you and completely destroy you. But
It's
they'd be
kind of
really
important,
weak.
but probably became your strongest piece of the project, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Am I correct?
I just love the like the attitude and the character that his model has, like his huge like eyes, his big ears. He just looks so cute and charming. If we want to go to world inspirations, I was looking up. I thought about pugs
Yeah.
and bats and toads, and just the attitude and just,
And you can definitely see that inspiration on your work. Yeah.
they look just yeah.
You started by drawing the character, right?
Right. So to start out and draw him, I there were a few different directions I could go with, and they were all. I could consider them as different species of the same kind of family of creature. They're supposed to be these things called Vesperi, where they were shadow-dwelling creatures that would live in like deep caves and only come out at night, and only when it was like moist and nice enough.
Could you maximize the window,
Oh,
because it's difficult for us to see? You
okay,
can press
sorry.
Control F.
Is that how that
Control
works?
F, and you go. Control
right.
F. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, thank you.
thank
I
you.
didn't know that was a thing. All right, so here we have a few varieties of monsters that I was drawing. We have on the far left here, we have a much more of a leaping one. I would imagine this guy able to get up to high places and pounce on top of you and attack from surprising locations. This guy, he'd be bigger than the smaller cousin here. He might be like twice the size, a lot faster. He has more of a pig or a warthog style inspiration to him.
Yeah.
But the one that we went with and implemented was the this much smaller and cuter wretched imp design, where he has, you can see all the features, this like rat-like nose, big teeth, pointy chin, big ears, and then from this little guy, I think I did a quick color pass and sketched out what he would look like tonally, and then I went for getting into modeling him in the block at phase in Blender. And if you want to, I guess, move the presentation along to talking about the workflow I took,
I will. Yeah. We will talk about that
right.
definitely. I
For
just
now.
want to access the question that was
Right.
related with that. What kind of reference and inspiration did you start with for concepting this character? This is from Koro. You kind of talked loosely about that.
Okay.
But if you could just talk a little bit more and really express like your ideas
Let's see.
regarding the answer. Yeah.
All right, cause I do a lot of like gathering of inspiration stuff on Pinterest. I think that's a very common thing to do. But let's talk about this guy specifically. All right, so what I did was basically hunt down images and references of brightly colored and highly dynamic poses. Things with like big teeth, weird proportions, that sort of thing. I went with most inspiration taken from this creature. You can, and it's helpful that it links right to the ArtStation page. This is Baldy Konijan. I found him, and this is just a page of all the different demons and stuff that he's worked on. But if I was going to continue the project and had to pick anyone as a key inspiration for the style, it would definitely be his work on Darksiders, and then the sharpness of Diablo for weapons and that sort of thing.
I don't know if it's just me, but it kind of have some. I feel a bit of manga inspiration as well, a little bit.
I think this guy might be have some Japanese heritage. Just judging by the name, I'm not sure where he's from. So he's in Amsterdam right now.
Yeah. So Koro had an additional question. It's from what it sounds like your study started out focusing on design. Did you take up character art on yourself, or was this a focus of study as well?
I took it up. It wasn't a focus of study. It feels like there's not really much focus happening in my program, but I really love character art, and we got to do some. I would always do, or like, I'm not sure when I started actually doing character art. I know I started getting into character art before I was even in university. I was in high school when I first started sculpting in Blender and trying to make characters, but they were, of course, like when you're just starting out, they're always pretty blocky and mushy looking. I don't have any of them to show right now, but I was really proud of the first thing I ever sculpted. It was like this mechanized dragon head, and after that, I set it up in lighting, and I really fell in love with 3D art at that point. I was like learning more and more, and I knew that I would make this like my career.
Yeah. We all, I think, we all here can understand that feeling, right? Because we probably had exactly the same way.
The music that you have on this call is really good for that sort of heartfelt moment of like talking about inspiration.
Yes.
I know you probably chose it for that very reason.
Yeah, I can predict the future, so I knew that this moment will come, and I know that exactly the minute that we will ask the question, and that will match exactly the emotional state. It's like it's not by a coincidence. It's like I'm a genius. Yeah.
We'll cry at the end.
Yeah, I'm crying from the inside. I'm
All
very
right.
good at hiding.
So.
No, we're kidding, man. But we're feeling definitely the same. We all imagine like that.
Right.
So let's try to make a bit like more questions, because otherwise this is not going to be as much interesting as it could be. We will start talking about do you want to talk more about the design before the production, or the concept before the production, or you want to advance for the production?
I don't know if I can talk much more about the design and the concepting, because it was mainly like these three things.
You said a bit more about the animals that you inspired of mechanically.
Right.
Like you said about the chimp.
Yeah, I don't have any references for a chimp, but like that's sort of how you can imagine him walking around. That sort of like knuckle dragging, hopping
There's no
style.
Chimps in Canada, you say?
We don't have chimps in Canada, no.
Oh, okay.
I think there's some in the zoos.
I've been wrong all this time. I thought there was. Okay. So for production, we will start with the block out. Right. You start.
Okay.
You have this infamous software that you use.
It's called Blender. All right. So let's see. Okay. So the first step in any production is always going to be blocking out your character shapes. I learned this from watching enough YouTube videos to find out how this is done. But something that might not be mentioned as much is that you should also attempt to pose your character as well. So that once you get your blocks down, you have to know that once unposed and brought out of that position, that he'll be able to actually suit the pose of the reference. So here we see that he was all crouched out. So I decided, yes, let's make a blocked out version where he's crouching. With that made and with the pose relaxed, what I then did was I brought the model into Zbrush, and this is, I guess, a bit of a benefit of working in this very haphazard way, where we maintain a lot of our old files just in case we have to have presentations for curious Discord servers.
Yeah. So you gather everything on ZBrush, you data mesh it,
Right.
and then you start creating more details. You create
Right.
the details on ZBrush, right?
Yeah. So this is, I think, these things get created because I was using them for the. It's like Z, like it's like the Z transform function, where like you have to
Yep.
post things up after you make them into one thing, and then it gets separated out.
Transposing, yeah. The
Yeah,
transpose.
transpose master.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Mhm.
From there, let's actually see. I'm trying to find it. Okay. So if we expand this list of visible tools, we can find that it's been sorted out pretty densely. So we have a folder for the head, a folder for the legs, a folder for the arms, torso, and tail. I'm not going to make any changes here because I always like to have this for the scrapbook.
All right.
But I have another ZBrush file where I made the final touches, and I think I can open that up too if we want to do that. Nope. Okay, where is that at? All right, if I can find it fast enough, I'll go ahead and show you it. Okay, sweet. There. And then it's the imp refined sculpting. Any questions coming in while I'm trying to find this here? There it is, refined sculpting.
Yeah, please continue with your questions. Meanwhile,
sorry, the lag it's
you can if you want, you can use your mic as well,
or you can
if
type
you
it
want to
out.
ask directly. Yeah.
really cool, the detail with posing, blocking, pose the blocking. I didn't knew it.
Yep.
Thing to do to understand a little bit more
And
the shape.
This is something that we do in 3DC as well. Like you make the artist like try to guess what the other person is saying, using like a cutout, like a cutoff voice, like robotic voice.
I imagine what he said was we want to pose our characters in the block-up phase. That way we know that we've managed to make a character form that will actually be able to animate as intended later.
You imagined, because we artists, we imagine things.
Right.
And that's a good, very good exercise, you see?
Yeah, that was, sorry, I don't know what's happening with my internet.
Yep. It always seems to be out at the exact wrong time, doesn't it?
Thank you, Andrade. We'll see you later.
And now, I think this is the refined one, where he's been made into a single object mesh. We dynameshed him together. We have him animated. We sketched in all his detail. We even used some subdivision levels to get them all detailed out. And then after this, what I did was I retopologized him also using Blender. If you want, I can switch over there now.
Yep.
Right. Okay, so that was a different one. Here. Okay. So here I've imported the monster. I have him with his eyes all separated, his teeth, all different objects as well. You can use some tools to very quickly retopologize things that aren't going to be deformed, like teeth. If you use decimate, that's a very dirty way of doing it. You can also just use there's this tool called Quadrimesher. It's expensive in Blender, but it gives you essentially the same sort of ability as the Z retopology tools that exist over there in ZBrush. But it helps you get a lot of good quality. Let's see. The imp body itself, I did by, let's go to edit mode and see it. In Blender, I'm not sure how many people here use Blender.
I think it's you and
Josh does a little bit.
Josh does just to roast it, and I don't
You are
know.
the master.
Exactly.
I will swear by Blender and say that it is one of the best programs to use for getting a lot of stuff done without having to switch between things.
It's one of the best programs to use
Quashu hates
for
it.
free.
Yeah.
No, I don't hate it. I just like because Blender users abuse me a bit, and
I know,
I
you've
give it a
told
bit
me.
of that love. I give a bit of that love back. That's it.
No hard feelings, man.
No, yeah.
So let's talk about Retopology a bit. All right. So
It's all about the end result.
Yeah. The things I learned about Retopology, I can kind of like pass on a bit, but it's essentially all about just like finding the muscle groups and the shapes and tracing them first, and getting the core loops around things like the arms done as well as you can. But weird shapes like these shoulder pieces, they're quite difficult to retopologize in any really good way. A key thing to always remember is to just have even polygon, like even numbers. I might be at this stage in my career still kind of fixed on using quads for everything. And I keep seeing triangles come up in other character models, and each time I do, I feel like I've been faced with something to confront and consider how I do my own work.
It's like a betrayal, right? When
Right.
you do a triangle, it's like you feel bad with yourself.
But because the shapes of the ears, like the amount of effort to go into making all this quads and be a consistent geometry and have a
Yeah, because if you are a character artist, you have to have character. You
Character?
understand? So yes, like integrity, character.
You gotta you have to use quads, but
Yeah, quads, all the way quads. No triangle.
I'm gonna have to use triangles more often just to make sure that I'm not just being a weirdo about it and that it actually can be used.
But in the school they told you to don't use triangles, to try to not use triangles, or you can use triangles wherever you want if it's not a deformable mesh.
Right.
It's true. Okay.
If you look at closely though at stuff and you're trying to pay attention to how to get really good topology, and you're insistent on working with quads like I am, that's the keynote. It's essential that you make sure that what you're doing is divisible by 2 or 4, so you're able to find spaces to close up and don't have any loose, odd geometry. So every single, if we go to stats, let's see what I can turn on here. Statistics. There. Right. So you can see the arm is ringed by 18 vertices and 18 edges, of course. The wrist area has 12 vertices. That's because we lose geometry to this elbow loop. The elbow loop is really good for making sure the elbow can bend and stay in a good form. Here we're going to switch over and look at the posing and rigging of it. But you can see that still difficult to spot, that it's got some good shapes to it. And the tool I prefer to use to rig is what's it even called? It's called Auto Rig Pro. I don't have it loaded in right now, but Auto Rig's Ray Generator lets you bring in the tools of Mixamo. Like you can identify and automatically calculate like where the waist, where the arms, where the hands are, and it'll find your fingers and bones, and it'll find your face detail if you want to do that too. So it does like half the work for you, maybe even more than half, especially because you're able to bring in more bones and different limb structures and really make it your own rig with the tools that it gives you. But that's how I did all the animations.
Medusa, do you want to ask anything?
Sorry, I'm in like 3 places at once. Like my girlfriend sending me messages and stuff. But yeah, I'll come up with some questions. Don't worry.
All right.
Definitely interested in this rigging thing on Blender.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you are.
Was it wasn't difficult, was it? Like you said it was like automatic.
It was.
You didn't have to like place the bones or anything yourself, or
What this tool gives is a really good foundation of I think it uses the same principles as Rigify does in Blender, which is like comes packed in, but you get this thing called like a meta rig, and what that is it's like it's the basis of your skeleton that the add-on generates the control bones and stretch bones around. So you still have to do things like make sure all the fingers are where the joints go, and you have to make sure that your bones are where they need to be. And then once you do that, you use you click the button Match to Rig, and what that does is it takes the Rigify or the if you're working with Rigify, or it takes the Auto Rig Pro rig, and then lines it up with the bones that you've lined up. So you now have a rig that comes with all these like really helpful tools like chin controls and all the assistant bones that help you deform the chin. And then like I think this one doesn't have the eyes lined up yet, but notice how when I move the eyelid, the ear also starts deforming. Sometimes.
Yeah, so you haven't done any skinning?
Like in
No,
real life?
I haven't done the skinning yet. Like in real life, when you blink, do your eyes move, or does your ear move?
Yes.
That's interesting.
I flap my ears every time my eyes blink.
Well, that's a feature on humans, but is it a feature on imps? It might not be. So if you want to have your character more fine-tuned, then yes, you can go in and you can skin things and change up the weight values.
I'm 10% him because of my great-grandfather, but yeah, that's okay.
You even get a tongue control with this rig.
That's
It's very thorough.
Yeah, and the way you did the model itself, like it's all in one piece, it's very cool. Like,
what do you mean it's all in one piece?
The interior of the mouth, for example.
Yeah.
Like with the tongue. Yeah. Usually, it's the first time I see a model with the tongue in the same model.
Well, I knew this guy would be opening his mouth like a lot and like screaming a lot, so you'd see it all. And if there was a gap there, then you would see it immediately.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's different. Like on things like crocodiles and like alligators and big dragons, you'd see the tongue a lot, especially when it's roaring. So you'd want to model it as like, at least in my opinion, you'd want to model it in the same mesh. Otherwise, like if you're using a human, you have the lips and the teeth that kind of hide the base of the tongue and where it connects. So it's much less essential to do that.
One question from Koro is, how long did it take to make this character, and what was the biggest challenges that you ran during the process?
At this point, I would say that it's a little hard to gauge that, but I think that to get it to what you see here, because this is like where I stopped back in June, it might have been 2 weeks maybe. I can't tell exactly. So it went a lot faster than I expected it to, and I like kind of rushed a lot to get it finished. Like the textures at this stage, 2 or 3.
How many hours per day? If you say 2 weeks.
It might have been like 8 or more. I'm not sure how long I was working on this thing, but it was a long time. There are other stuff I was working on too, but I can't tell you. My memory is foggy about how much I work on things, because the time just seems to disappear on me.
Fine. So did you show the UVs, the UV maps? How did they
Oh, the
look?
UV maps. Let's see those. Okay. All right. So on this one, I think you were able to see the seams at least. I'm really quite proud of this. So I can show you the seams and the shading. So all of the assets are on the same UV map. That means like all the teeth, all the eyes, even though they're not seen here because they're all separate objects. But
But if you select them, you show them where they are, right?
yeah, okay, let's see them.
Can't you select more than one at the same time?
Yep. I just have to remember how to do the. Sometimes I fumble things. Damn it. All right.
You see, I already seen a flaw in Blender.
You just saw a flaw in me being nervous on camera. All
On
right.
camera? Well,
Blender is flawless.
On voice. Blender is flawless. If there's any mistake, it's on the user's fault. All right. Where are they?
You see the brainwash?
No, that's exactly right.
Fucking dangerous.
I'm just joking, man. All right. Where are the damn teeth? They're somewhere.
It's
but
fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, seems pretty clean.
Okay.
So did you use the UV space to maximize to put everything inside? Yeah.
UV space to maximize everything inside. I think so. I'm not sure if I did anything wrong. If I did, someone could point that out. But otherwise, it seems to like it all worked, but it all fits on one texture set. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So then you can move on to the texture, right?
Right. Okay. So I have two files to show for this then. We have where I started and left off after the first batch of working on it. I used, we're only into an hour so far. Okay, that's cool. I used a whole bunch of different layers. When it comes to texturing, my art style is, I learned a lot from the channel Stylized Station on YouTube. And I learned from watching miniature painters working on stuff for Warhammer and Dungeons and Dragons. I love watching miniature painting, even though I don't actually have any minis or do any painting myself. It's just all texturing digitally. But some important things to learn from them are things like washes and like overtones, and setting up different values based on all the different maps you have available within Substance Painter. So even on this stage, I still had different things like darkening up the eyes, using mainly thinness and thickness and ambient occlusion for stuff. I'd add more detail in the mouth, trying to give it a different amount of shine. And I'm gonna throw away all the changes I make here when I move on to the next one. So
where did you test it when you're doing this? Did you test the texture in like Marmoset or any other rendering system, or you went straight away for SketchUp?
I tested the textures at this point. I think I was using Eevee in Blender, which you can see here in this model.
Okay.
Uh-oh. No, this doesn't have textures yet.
Okay.
This one. Right.
Yeah. But then you render it, or how do you do it to see the real time, the PBR effect?
Oh, right here. Yeah, this still has it. Like, the PBR effects are all working in Eevee. Yeah, but I think I also did do something really cool earlier. I did use Marmoset because I couldn't resist.
Yeah, it's too irresistible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I'm gonna have it.
It's very similar to SketchUp, so it's the best way for you to actually see the final result, no? And interact with it.
Right. I think
Any other?
Unity also has some interesting tools for it, but I don't use it for visualization. I just use it for the final product because the materials is too hard to set up in Unity. have renders of the
Look at
initial
these
model.
guys.
Oh, here he is. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Um,
I'm always ready.
okay, I think he's missing his textures. I think I downloaded this off another computer of mine, so he didn't come with all of this set up properly.
But we can see the light setup that you have right there already. It's showing you that you give it you establish a drama kind of
Yeah.
light set, right?
Mhm.
You want to create all these colors to create a story that is more dramatic, right?
Right, like having the story I wanted to build was one of a minion like watching his master's terrain and ready to put out the call to send in the horde, and like so it was gonna be this like scary creature hanging out on this gargoyle and overwatching the battle.
You said before that you were told by I don't remember who that it's important to create contrast on the lighting, right?
Hmm.
And you can see here like the contrast on the colors itself themselves, like
Yeah, even though a lot of it's missing at this point.
mhm.
Yeah,
It's okay. We understand.
right. I'll show you a better one.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is what he'd look like here. There's also this glitch in this version of it where he doesn't have, for some reason, a part of his shoulder seems like it's tied to his neck or his
Yeah.
head somewhere. I had to fix that before I uploaded it anywhere else.
And how do you create? Where do you get the references for the animation? Do you pose yourself?
Um, I think the references for him might have been like stuff like Lord of the Rings and watching like Gollum, or or it might have been because like I do like some like just I sit in front of the computer and I kind of like pose like him and kind of like see what my arms are doing and like how it's done, and then I like if I'm watching any videos about like goblins or creatures, I kind of will look at those. I think the goblins in Goblin Slayer are like really creepy. But they have like these like really cool eyes, and a little bit of that might have blended into the animation.
That's great. Someone is knocking on the door. Meanwhile, I have to go and open.
I can show you more about the textures because the textures of the final project is
Meanwhile, I would like you guys to just post the questions. I'll be back in 1 minute. Okay.
okay. I'll leave a cliffhanger for now. I'll be waiting until he's back.
You said Goblin Slayer.
Yeah,
You watched that anime?
I watched it. Yeah,
It's a wonderful anime.
it's crazy,
everyone
man.
That hasn't, everyone that hasn't seen it, you gotta see it. Also, you should look into the comic for it, or like the manga, because it's way worse.
Oh no.
Like what they
You're
showed
just
in
like,
there.
that's how we'll sell it. It's way worse.
Like not as in bad kind of worse, but it's
As in, like, the goblins get up to even more despicable things,
yep.
right? I've heard.
Oh yeah.
Recently, I just watched Claymore, that like old anime from 2007, but it was like super cool. It's like Berserk or Witcher, but they're like all like ladies. But it,
Oh.
yeah, it's like Berserk, but with badass half monster like fighters. It's amazing.
It's dope. You have any other favorite animes that you've seen?
Kill la Kill is like
I know.
really cool. I think it was one of the first animes I ever like watched.
Oh yeah, I like that one too. I know a lot of the other guys in the chat, like Frisky and
I'm back.
and Josh. They don't really watch anime.
No, I don't really watch anime either. I only watch ones that like someone tells me is like amazing, and then I'll be like, okay, fine, I'll watch it, even though it's anime.
But I love all anime, man.
Okay.
Not all, because there's a lot of really weird
There's
stuff.
a lot of really weird stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I don't watch anime.
That's the one you watch, Medusa. I know.
There are too many horror stories.
Prison School. You gotta watch Prison School.
Yeah, that sounds like the right title. Look, so this is actually the final result, right?
Right,
Already.
this is the final result. I'll show you how I get here and kind of walk you through the earlier stages.
Yeah,
Did-
because just before you show it, this guy is gonna show you a trick that will blow your mind. Like it's really like the ultimate trick for textures. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
All right. So what I'll do at this point is going to be hide anything above that layer, and then we'll see sort of like the timeline of it. All right. So
This looks like a washed off, like when you put the T-shirt that you really like for the last 5 years in the washing machine, and it got like without colors.
right.
And now you pick it up and put it on the magic software, and it will make it nice again, right?
Yeah. So let's see what I've done. I want to see if this is actually the case that it happened. Yeah. So I had this. This was basically I paint in the belly, the ears, like and the pink tones where I want them, and I use paint layers for that within the color channel. I only want to affect the color channel when I'm working because I know that the skin is going to all be the same roughness value, or at least on a character like this. But the scales I have on another layer, and I make them unique, and I set them apart on a higher layer, and I use a painted mask to make sure that the scales and the bumps have them stand out. But I'm kind of holding back the goods a bit. That's not the real trick yet. The real trick is I export the color map from this model as it is now, and I import it into Krita or Photoshop. They'll achieve similar results, but I use Krita because I know the filter layer system a lot better. And what is cool about this is that you take the filter, take the base layer, and then you start adding on filter layers to tweak the color and enhance the depth of saturation in various points. You can even apply things like a oil brush effect to the texture, although that would really highlight the seams and separation in your mesh. So I'd recommend using something like Blur Slope within Substance Painter if you want to go for like a more painterly brush stroke texture. But what you can do is just layer on different adjustments in the hue and the saturation of your mesh or of your texture, and then you can export the texture with different combinations of filter tweaks into Marmoset or into Eevee or into Sketchfab, and then you can see how your character looks with the different pumped up texture maps, because it'll have a really huge impact. And
Can I ask something?
Yep.
Is this another infamous free software?
Yes.
I'm joking. It's very interesting. It's like it gives it you showed me, you show again, and it looks like gives it a way you change the image that is more organic than in Photoshop.
All right, so if you want to see how I'm making the filter layer, what I'll do is I'll go in here and I'll say filter layer. That's a fill layer. All right, filter layer right here. So we have something called a cross color adjustment. We have hue saturation adjustments. We can just change the raw values here. We can also do color balance, and we can do things like enhance our red tones of our shadows. We can do things like the yellows of our midtones. If you want like our green to be a little more buffed, red versus or cyan versus red gets that tone up. Then our highlights, and if you pop it up high enough in terms of highlights and color differences, it almost looks like has specular detail or almost has emissive detail, even though it's just on the albedo. It's just that the colors are so stark and vibrant and so highly saturated that it seems to glow if you have a bloom effect turned on.
I skipped one question from Josh. I apologize. I couldn't see it in the middle of other questions. And it's just this is just like not related, but what is your favorite class in Dungeons and Dragons?
Rogue.
All right. That's interesting. I'm sorry,
Um,
Josh. I didn't see it.
I always go with rogues just because they have such a wild variety of skills you can get. It's not just because they like sneaking around and stabbing stuff. I hardly ever actually do as much stealthing as rogues typically get up to. I usually just go for the I take big advantage of expertise in unexpected things like arcana and diplomacy or perception, and of course stealth and deception.
That's great.
Yeah.
Can you tell us the name of this software again?
Krita. It's Krita.
Great. Okay.
Right.
I'll have a look at it. It's for painting, right?
It's for painting and like basic image editing, but painting is more where it excels.
Yeah.
I have paintings. This is something just different, but I painted this a little earlier and I was kind of proud of it, so I might be able to see it. Uh-oh.
So you painted directly on the texture and then you imported on the substance?
I didn't paint anything in the texture.
Okay.
This is something unrelated, but I think it's cool. Oh, I can't actually show this. If I show this, someone from my D&D game might see it, and they might be like, "Oh no, that's a spoiler."
Okay. You see? All gold here. It's like little pieces of gold that we get from this treasure.
All right. So what else do we want to ask? Because yeah, you can go in and paint anything else on top of this, but after I get my tones that I like, I bring in one of those. I bring in the best texture, and I add more detail, and I'll paint more on top of that. So you can see here, the added on scale depth, and the added on tone of his scales. Like I picked out individual scales and made them darker, so they would have more interest.
That's great. It give you, once you have this, and you have like the extra punch of inspiration to finish it on a higher level. Right. Yeah.
Because you
That's
have
great.
already something that's like not quite there
For
yet, but so close.
Yeah. Like you had you wanted to put some. You showed the toad, but the toad was not really there until you get putting like these bumps on the end, right?
Yeah. Because I was looking for, in Blend or like in Substance Designer, we have this like whole catalog of like different materials, right, and different things that come prepackaged. And I wanted something more like reptilian for them, but I was looking through the catalog and they didn't have like snake scales, they didn't have like reptilian scales, but they do have what they do have is a really cool kind of, if we go to alphas, you can find a bunch of organic materials and stuff like dirt spots, skin cracks, like fingerprints that if you line up just right might look like a fingerprint on someone's hand. But you can also get stuff like wrinkles, cracked surface detail, and you just want to go in. I would apply these to a mask layer because we have a lot more control over fills and masks. Like you can after you make the pattern on the mask using a texture. So like here, if we go here, we see that this is painted onto the mask layer. But if we go here to our color channel and our fill, we can see if we wanted to, we can now make all the scales way bumpier by tweaking our height. We can even inset them. And we wouldn't have access to this if we just tried to paint the scales on directly. The mask gives us like way more power. We can even just adjust the location of highlights in different color tones by adding paint solely to the albedo channel to different locations where we want it. And that's how you just fine-tune things.
Alex is asking if you have an art station.
I do. my art station is, I'll post it. It's probably a school account of mine. Where do I send that?
You put it on the chat section. The Starlight Character Arts chat.
Right.
Yeah. Just copy and paste there.
Do you want to explore this a little bit, or what do you think?
It's up to you.
I'm almost done here. I
What
think
does
the closet. He posted it. There it is. Koro at like 12:05. That's exactly the inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I feel like at this point, if you want to like answer Koro's question there, like if you would make this character again, what would be some of the things you would do different or have learned from doing this project once? I think that in some way I've actually already done it again. Like me going back and deciding to texture it again was me having learned from the original project. And the things I did learn that I can discuss here is about the depth of detail you can add by combining fill layers with masks, and the amount of control you can get for adding skin textures using well-placed masks and brushes with alphas. And then just painting on the color. Also keep things separate. Like don't have layers that rely on, don't have layers that have a big impact or too much impact on the piece as a whole. Like if one thing ends up being like misdone or is too reliant on other pieces, then it can all kind of feel like it's, I guess, hard to correct or make adjustments to later.
That's great. I got a few questions for myself.
Right.
But I will save it for the end of your presentation for the model. I think you still have a few things to say, right?
Maybe I do.
Okay.
So if you want to start, I'm going to kind of show you how I do the, how I place the scales, because what I can do here is I can, basically the important thing to do is to remember to use like a soft brush and to use a stencil. You might know already know about stencils, but there's actually a lot of stuff you can get done with them. I'm going to show up, the exact thing I used was wrinkles. There. All right. So when you're using a stencil and substance painter, what happens is that you end up getting the pattern just overlaid on the screen. But you are also able to edit it and adjust where it's placed in order to have more control. And wherever you place it is going to be where it gets dropped. So the angle of your character is going to be a really important thing to get right when you want to apply it. So like, let's just add some detail to the knuckle. Let's say here that I want to add on, I either do maximum and then make the stroke opacity really soft, or what I do is I use gray, but I'm more likely to start at really high just in case I have like more room to explore with, but then set the opacity real low. The results are similar. But you
can then manipulate the layer opacity if you wanted to make it.
And then you just like apply some wrinkling on the rough there. And then if you want to change it where it would go, you just move it a little bit. But then that's how it would go. I think that probably was something I'll remove just because this is for demo's sake. But then
thank you for sharing your tricks for greatness.
You always sound so sarcastic, but thank you.
No, I'm not sarcastic. Come on, man.
Okay.
I'm very glad that you're here with us and sharing your work.
All right.
If you fail to do something, I feel that it's my failure, it's not yours. The same way you feel about Blender, I feel about you. Like if the problem is if this event has any problem, it's of me that I'm the organizer of the event.
Yeah, but like legitimately, Blender has a lot of tools, so you can really like you should look up how to use it. I'm talking more myself. So I tend to just like explore to see if I'm missing something, and then just assume that the program is wrong.
There should be a law in this world that you cannot use that word because every time you do use it, someone tries to sell it.
Blender?
Even though it's for free. Even though it's for free. Yeah.
I mean, like it might tell you something about how good the program is if every time someone mentions it, they're trying to sell it to you.
The truth is that I might have to switch from Maya to Blender
Yeah.
if Maya continue to become
Oh,
so.
we got you on
difficult.
record. We got you on record.
So, can I say something? Real
What?
Quick
Yeah.
this? So I've been while watching you with the presentation, super cool presentation by the way, really nice tips. While watching this, I'm just modeling because
Mhm.
it's fun to model. Modeling an X in Maya, and the last 20 minutes, I've had 8 crashes. And now I took it to Blender. I'm working in it for probably 15 minutes and not a single crash. So just
Just
I
to
was
let you
gonna
know,
throw-
right?
just to let you know.
But on
Uh-huh.
the flip side of the coin, I've been doing Retopo all day in Maya with Quad Draw. I haven't had to have a slowdown or restart once and no crash.
Exactly, but I know why Maya's crashing. It's because I just installed Houdini a couple days ago and Maya's very jealous. So
It is, of course.
it's crashing. Happens every single time.
Yeah, as soon as like Houdini, if Houdini ever gets bought by Autodex, the problem will just go away.
Your Houdini crashed earlier today.
Yeah, Houdini crashed, yeah, but not 8 times in 20 minutes.
That's interesting. Corey is writing something. I hope he's not about Blender.
I think you'll be disappointed. I was gonna say,
Right.
just gonna say that you thought this was a stylized character workshop, but it was actually just a blender.
It was just a Blender conversion session. All right.
Yeah.
I can show off other stuff that I worked on here too. While I kind of have time.
Yeah, sure.
This is something I did as like one of my first projects in Substance Designer or Substance Painter. But I was trying to apply to get the a job at Red Hook last year or in 2019. A couple years ago. But my favorite character in Darkest Dungeon was the bounty hunter because I just loved his like attitude and his like flair and his like simplicity of just like delivering an uppercut and having his like dialogue box after scoring a critical hit to be just like silence, just like and they make a point and they just say ellipses. He's so cool, and he has like a really cool loadout of gear, and I never go anywhere without him. But something that I think what probably I didn't do quite right was I made his textures too realistic, like too gritty and not good enough or like not on brand enough. Like there wasn't enough inks. It was just all like realistic and all dark, like too dark in the scene very much.
Yeah, like, it looks amazing how you presented it. I just wish it was like a little bit more brighter so you
Let-
could appreciate it even more.
Okay, let's see, because I have done that. There's one I uploaded where it's like just him standing in shot. All right, I'll also post this because you can see like a mix of like my earlier stuff and like my new stuff. I want to upload more. But like. Here, we see that I have, like, immediately after I got into Substance Painter, I was like putting out like, really high quality, good stuff. I would mix things. I just got really attached to it right away, and I made some really cool things with it.
Substance Designer, I think, Substance Painter, sorry. It's one of the coolest parts, I think, in my opinion, of the pipeline.
Right, and if you want to see the normal, like the mesh information, this is just it. I thought I did like a really good job making things done so cleanly, and this was my first real like time using.
I see one triangle.
Where is it?
It's there.
Where? Here? Oh, right.
I'm joking.
Oh,
I'm
shit!
joking. I'm
He
joking.
wasn't even wrong! Okay. Anyway. Nah. So we got things like the different maps here. You can see that but the opacity map, this is something I was like really like glad to find out about because it let me just use a cylindrical mesh for his waist and then just paint out the triangles for his armor and his scale mail. And and if I ever do scale mail again, or someone has like a jagged edge, I'll definitely use a opacity map for it because it makes things way more efficient having to model all the scales.
Yeah, it looks great, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even. I thought it was geometry, to be honest.
Yeah, right. It's not. It's just a cutout. It's just a cutout opacity channel. It's a dirty trick, but it works.
It's the best way.
Then, this is another enemy. That's for that same game where the imp came from. But he got far less work done on him. Yeah. I have an hour left, so if you want to just hang out and look at this guy's sculpt, I can show you that too.
Sure. Meanwhile, you guys can post some questions if you have.
Yeah.
This one I can see is very similar to very. It resembles from me a lot the character from Doom. I don't
Yeah,
remember
it's
the
the
name
Hell
of it.
Knight. I kind of copied the Hell Knight, like, in a lot of ways. It's a very clear where he's supposed to be modeled from. My bounty hunter model now has 516 views, which it makes him the most viewed thing on my site, and it should be. His tail skinning is the worst. It's just a Mixima model. He doesn't even have bones there.
He doesn't have bones on the tail.
He doesn't have bones in the tail. Look at them.
Yeah, it's looking like a carrot.
Yeah. It's very not good.
You will dig holes with that in the ground. It's nice, man.
Yeah, but like, look, his legs are his bone influence for his tail.
But the animation is yours, right?
No, the animation
Or
is from
the animation-
Miximo.com.
Miximo, okay.
Right. Yeah. Do you think I'd make that mistake if it was my animation? No.
No. Not the great Jack Laser J.
Let's show you
That
the sculpt for him if you want to see it.
sure. You can sculpt on Blender as well, no?
Yes. I just
But you do it on Zbrush.
yeah, I prefer the softness of it. Like I really like how the geometry deforms more in it. It's just a lot more it's a lot more pleasing. The texture is much more
I tell you what.
nice.
You introduced me to Blender and I introduced you to Zbrush. How do you think about that?
I wouldn't mind that.
All right. That's a good deal. I think we both have to gain about that.
Because there's more in ZBrush that I'm missing.
Well, for what you showed me, I think you can benefit a lot by working on ZBrush.
This
Wait,
might
you didn't made your bet in the ZBrush?
Oh, he's made in ZBrush. Yeah.
But you mainly you don't work in ZBrush?
I don't work with geometry in ZBrush. I don't like ZBrush's geometry editing tools, so I will do all my retopology and my modeling for the base mesh in Blender.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think is the old way to do the models, right? I think.
I think it's a classic workflow.
Yeah.
I've seen it before.
Maybe it's actually has some advantages for his particular style because it's blocky, and it works better for him like this.
Yeah.
I was barely even playing. I was just slapping the button over and over.
Medusa.
This
Mic.
My mic?
Yeah.
Oof, my
Yeah.
bad.
This guy's whole deal is just being spiky and a big monster. I probably we didn't end up using this guy's character design, but I think that he looks really funny because he's supposed to look cool, but he just looks too spiky and he has like too many abs. What do you guys think of him?
Well, it's an alien. He can have as many abs as you want.
I suppose so.
Yeah. Aliens don't give a fuck about about abs. They
Yeah.
have
Right.
yeah, they have whatever they want.
Yeah.
So this is
You study anatomy or something?
study
Or
is
basic level?
Oh, now you're in trouble. The anatomy master is gonna
Right.
be involved.
I want to study it more, but it's kind of like when someone says study, what do you mean study? I just stare at this picture while trying to sculpt.
Well, I really feel like will
Mhm.
come great. If you learn more anatomy,
Mhm.
will help you a lot.
Mhm.
Because in my case, for example, I don't have this level of creativity. I'm
Right.
not so creative. Like, this definitely is a creation, right?
Mhm.
It's your creation.
I have studied anatomy technically.
Yeah. If you
I need to
if
put more work
you'll-
into this stuff though.
If you'll put more work on it, you'll make it more believable. Even
Mhm.
if it's stylized, right? You'll
Exactly.
make it more believable.
That's the
Yeah.
advantage of a community. Like, you showing this amazing work that you did, the way you created like a stylized character, the way you presented the character, and it's make other artists, oh wow, how can I do this? Like, and Frisky on the other hand is like, don't get us wrong, he's like obsessed about anatomy.
Mhm.
All he did in the last year, in 1 year of work, was developing his anatomy. So he sees all anatomy problems in any work.
No,
So-
not actually. Not
No,
say like
yes,
that.
but yes, yeah. That's what you
Michelangelo
do.
reborn.
No,
No.
I'm not so good. I'm good at seeing, but not
It's
doing
it's,
it.
it's good. Yeah, it's good in seeing other people's problems. Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm, mhm.
No, man, I didn't tell you that it's a problem what you did there. But definitely, you can improve your, and you will see how easy it will be
Mhm.
when you know anatomy to create something. Like,
Yeah.
it will be very cool.
What I want to like, what I know I've done wrong in this one, is definitely like the legs. The legs are probably one of the most lacking areas of anatomy here.
Yeah, the legs lay looking like Lego
Yeah.
joints, right?
Mhm.
They're not natural, but yeah, it's stylized and it's a monster. Can
Yeah.
be whatever.
Stylized.
Yeah, I feel-
It's stylized is a very bad excuse to me. Yeah.
Yeah, but for example, I've seen the work. How is Steppenwolf? Maybe I pronounced it wrong. Steppenwolf. You seen the Justice League movie? They have this new Steppenwolf, right? No.
Yeah, the Wonder Woman rival.
Yeah, and that guy is having so strange forms, but are really cool looking. Definitely, if you analyze it like a functional form, maybe it will
Yeah.
not work good, but it's looking so cool. It's
Yeah.
definitely in that case the anatomy is like not important. But
Okay.
yeah, I think that's a level that you can achieve after years and years of work.
I think I could probably like, buff this guy up and make him a lot better with not very much effort.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So more questions?
Isn't this guy just like DC Thanos?
They all rip each other's off. You know, there's characters like Darkseid
Mhm.
is a rip-off of Darkseid is a rip-off of Apocalypse, I think.
Mhm.
Mercury, the guy, the son of Magneto, is a rip-off of Flash.
Mhm.
Quicksilver is a rip-off of Flash. As the Aquaman is or one of Namor is a rip-off of Aquaman, or vice versa.
Yeah.
It's they all do this, you know. So
Right.
Shazam is a rip-off of Superman, which is in the same franchise. Like,
That
No,
might-
I don't think it's a complete reference.
I'm not sure about that either.
A little
Not-
kid
not
that
complete, but
transforms.
Mhm.
no, it's just a guy with a cape, a brunette buff guy with a
Well,
cape that can do anything.
We have to recall that Shazam is basically like wish fulfillment for the readers of Superman.
Is it?
I think so. It's like what you can just say Shazam and become Superman. Like if you're a kid, you're just like, wow, that's a great power. I wish I was Shazam too and had that power.
To become Madonna.
What?
Man,
To
you
become
showed off
Superman?
Your earliest work on the art station.
Uh,
That thing's crazy.
The earliest work?
Ubisoft Next 2020.
Uh,
The Ubisoft Next 2020 3D art submission that you have.
yeah, on ArtStation.
there?
Yeah, I'll show this one.
Yeah, that thing's dope.
Thank you so much.
The, yeah, the music is again doing it. You see, you gotta give it to me. I'm really a genius.
This is so hard, man. Like, this music, like, it's breaking with the 3D, breaking the relation. It's dramatic.
Yeah, break all the barriers.
It has its own sound included in the YouTube video. I'm not sure if it's getting transmitted.
No, it's a nice bottom.
Oh, it's Stranger Things music.
Yeah.
Like, you have to end it with, like, a speech.
With love and compassion, you can create really good 3D art.
You're talking about the music that we got in the server right now.
Yeah, this music. Yeah.
Yeah, with love and compassion, only you can make really good 3D art. Yes. All right, but
You can do anything you want.
anything you can dream. Yeah, working on this project taught me a lot about how to make wires that just go everywhere, how to make hay, how to make dust, and how to make spider webs. That's what I learned most from this project. Making the robot, nah, that was easy. The freaking hay, that was the challenge here. only a half joke, but yeah.
Yeah, but it looks really good. Even the me that I've been doing a bit of art surface. It's not as easy as it might look.
Yeah, I think it was I did a pretty good job on him. I'm going to one of my goals here is going to be to put up a like just a little plinth of him sitting on his stool with like a circle of a board around him and some hay, so I can have him able to be made into an asset for Sketchfab, so he can just turn around and stuff and sit on his little chair there, and I can link back to my ArtStation page for him so we can see the video.
So how do you define yourself as an artist? What kind of you have a vision for a project? Do you write the story? Do you have anything? There's a lot of things that you talked with me before that you didn't mention here, and I think it's interesting for people to know.
Oh, you
That
mean? Keep
for
going.
me, what is interesting in an artist is not just the things that he does, is the things behind that motivates his work, right? So when you have an idea for a project, how does it come? Like explain us how does it idea for the project, like to create a game or you said that you imagine, for example, the character interacting. How would the character live outside the game? You said this as well.
Right.
How do you set up the project and how do you create these motivations?
So to talk about this one, like if we want to talk about like this video here that I did,
In general,
I don't like to talk about
like-
generalities. I like to talk about specifics and then extrapolate up from there.
So I'll give you a specific.
Right.
Okay. projects like the game that you created for your game before. Why did you create that game like that, and what was the motivation to create a game like that? Is it your particular style of game that you enjoy, or did you find it that the game was you had like an inspiration in a sense that you think that for that it was motivating for you to work in a game, even though it was not your style of game? It was such a cool idea, and it motivated you as an artist to participate on a game like that.
Okay, this is a bit of a roundabout question, but
no, it's clear. Like if you have a game,
I'm gonna try to answer it. Let's see. Right. So, if I was working on like a game, what would inspire me to work on it? What was the reason for making it and creating it? Right. Okay.
Yes.
So,
the particular game.
The particular game that this guy was kind of made for was an action fantasy game where you were a demonic kind of champion that was like tasked with like recovering some like ancient artifact that would transform into like the next one with the right to rule in this like abyssal domain, which wasn't actually hell, because we didn't want to just be like, you're trying to be the devil. No, it was like this group of people that had like souls made of fire, and so looked kind of like demons, or more like tieflings, kind of, if you want to know D&D terms, where they're like half demon, or like they have horns and they can fly around, that sort of thing. But the impetus for it was because I really liked the mobility and the chunkiness of Doom Eternal's movement methods, but I kind of felt strangely let down by the combat and how like inexplicable it was in terms of like narrative. But the combat in Doom is fantastic from a shooting perspective, but from a melee standpoint, and really getting stuck in and just like tearing things to bits, it's only done by like these little cutscenes and like these little like quick animations that are always the same each time, and they can kind of feel repetitive even though they're excellently animated. But I wanted a game where you could swoop around, leap on things, like double jump, dash, and then like come sailing in with like your wings and just cleave through something and go around hacking and slashing and fighting a bunch of these cool monsters. And that was the vision for what got me started on that topic. We'll be having, yeah.
So your inspiration / motivation to create that game is like trying to improve on a game that you thought that was fun to play but had some flaws.
Yeah, exactly.
And make it, and at the same time added some other components that you really like the Dungeon and Dragons element, and a style that you also like, because your style is not exactly the same style as is on Doom's Eternal, right? It's even though they are both stylized, your style is.
It's more like it's more brighter and kind of more like the Darksiders, as I was kind of pointing out a little earlier.
But this was like a peculiar situation, right? Because other projects may start with the different motivations, right?
Right. Like, I'm not sure how a lot of projects get started, but it kind of feels like, for me, I do things because I feel like something's like missing, or I'm inspired by something else. Like, this did something really well. Can I see if I can like do that too? Or this did something really well, but, and then the but is like the room for me to get creative and sort of answer the question or like make the solution to that problem. So,
and then so continue. I'll have a question afterwards.
I made this like one board game up like earlier where it was kind of like, I like Risk and I like Settlers of Catan, but the thing I don't like about Risk is how it's all about the power creep and expansion, and there's a point in the game where one person wins and there's like no question, they've won, they have all of the continents, and the fight just goes on way too long and gets way too boring. But I love rolling dice and fighting.
Especially for the people that died, right?
Right.
That you have too
and
much
then
if they win.
I like Catan. Catan is really fun. You can build things, you can set up the board, you can trade and like make bargains and have like really fun interactions with people. But it stops at being able to send armies and like destroy stuff and like tear things down and like kind of like cause more chaos for your opponents. So what I did was I made up this game called Marauders. The tagline was like guys, gas, and guns, but it was like, or like recruit, raid, survive, that sort of deal. But the point is that basically it's like Mad Max Risk, where you have a gang of like marauding like biker maniacs looking for gasoline, guns, food, and then like more recruits for their horde. And what you do is you can build like towers, and you can select what sort of dude you want in charge of your team, and you can cause a lot of like really cool interactions, or you can trade for supplies with other players, or just go ahead and take them if you can manage to beat their army. But
So,
yeah, but where I wanted to make it less like Risk is if you think about like where the Risk inspiration comes from. You're rolling dice. You roll one die for your attacker, and then you add more dice based on how many guns you have. It's kind of like you can have up to 2 guns. You can roll 3 dice. You have like that sort of bonus for it. But you can think of your player as like a mobile territory in Risk that you can drive up to someone and have them attack. You don't just have to move your soldiers around the board. You just move your army around the board instead.
So you have foundations, like you have a good structure in your mindset about how the game mechanics should go when you have a project, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you inspired yourself on board games.
Yeah.
Right. That's interesting, and you transfer sometimes some foundations from that to the games that you try to create, right?
Yep. I actually I produced several prototype copies of that board game, and if you're curious or want to check it out, I can mail one to you if you want to pay for it.
Wow. Let's see how much it costs. I don't have space for anything in my small flat, so.
If you want to cover the cost of shipping, I can go ahead and mail it to you, and it's pretty fun.
But you can put it on the chat there. People might want to purchase this from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, please do. And I think it's very interesting that we have that. By the way, how do you feel about Monopoly?
I don't like it very much.
What is the reason?
It's just because it's like the turns will kind of feel the same after a point. It's just like you're going around in circles.
So it's because it's linear?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So you have the project, you have the idea, you have the team. How do you monetize the project? What is the strategy to monetize a game project?
The strategy to monetize one? That's where I know a little less. What I do is like I generate the ideas, I get people excited, and then I hand it off to someone who is able to get more invested and actually enjoys using social media. So I don't do marketing myself as much. Because it just takes it's too draining for me. I'm an introvert and I don't like talking to people for a long time, despite that I'm here.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. You've been talking to me for 4 hours.
Yeah, but it's about art and stuff that I care about and really enjoy. I can go on about the things that I know and want to talk about forever. I would.
If it is about you, it's fine. But
Yeah.
if it's something else, it's okay. I understand.
If it's let's talk about sports, I'll be like, oh no, I'm gonna die.
But when you say get people excited, who are these people, and how do you? What is your? First, you need to know how to reach people, right?
Well,
what kind of people do you try to reach?
I reach firstly my teammates on my team. I work at this. I have a little independent studio called Insanity Core right now with my friends. And they're from university. We basically managed to get the top talent from our year, plus some other people that we've joined on from other years. And now we are going to be incorporating our little studio. And it's all about getting the people who know how to get things done excited, first and foremost, and then you can. I feel like I can kind of like put it in good hands and just manage the process, and I can have more time to do the things I enjoy, which is helping the thing that I suggested making get made, and then I leave like the sales up to them more.
So you're not involved with the process of getting the money. Someone else that will try to sell it for you.
I'm involved in like the pitch and the preparation of presentations, but networking is something I have to improve on. So I need to do more outreach, make more friends. I have to do more things like this. And once I get that rolling and I have a bunch of people who know, hey, that's Laser J. He's a fantastic character artist and he knows a whole lot of cool stuff. And he'll come up with really great ideas for a game if we want to send him anything. Then it'll be just a lot more rolling from there, and I'll only get more and more good opportunities.
Yeah. Well, you're more of not only a game artist, but you're also an entrepreneur, and not only a character artist, but also an entrepreneur and a game artist. That's what I feel.
Yeah.
I don't know. Any of you guys want to ask questions, because it looks like a date between me and Laser J, and I want you guys to get involved as well. Like, let's make this
What's
more.
Something that motivates you the most?
What motivates me the most is
like family, your friends, or like somebody specific.
My head doesn't stop making ideas, and if I don't do something with them, I feel like I'm disappointing myself. And I have a lot of it's kind of just like, if I didn't do something with these ideas, I'd feel disappointed. And so I kind of, if I'm not, because the ideas are going to come to me anyway, I just have to do something with them to get them from torturing me. And and that's why I do character art and like play Dungeons and Dragons and like DM and tell stories. And the closer I can get to making these ideas and stuff profitable, then the closer I get to living the dream of being a wizard and like living in a magic tower and just like having a home a home somewhere out in the wilderness where I can just have Wi-Fi and hang out there.
When you do your DMing, do you get into character a lot too? Like, do you do voices?
Always. Yeah, I love doing voices. I love the I love putting on the voice of villains and just really getting to pretend to be a dick for about 30 minutes straight.
Not literally, but I understand.
No, just like, so I like playing. I have a couple characters that were just like really hilarious for my players. I actually prefer lawful evil more. One time I played a chaotic evil character, and he was like, we were playing this like villain game where I was playing as like basically the Joker, but he was a College of Satire bard, or like an Eldritch Trickster rogue multi-class. And I put on a voice for him and had him go around causing all manner of chaos. He had a ring that he could spin to teleport out of danger, and the activation phrase for his ring was "So long, suckers."
Good, get it.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Like, if you need more voices, Medusa can make him, so you, especially if it's like Puss in Boots, like in different different.
I don't get that.
If you want to put it, you can do it. If you want the Indian one, you can do it. You can do all kinds of nations
in
Puss in Boots.
Wallace in here.
Yeah, the other Wallace
brother is like the master at voices.
Yes. So if you need voices for male characters, I think other Wallace can do females as well. So if you want it, you can just. You can just hire these guys.
Give us. Do you want to?
Truth is that he doesn't like D&D.
The sad truth is,
Despite
doesn't-
Oh, dude, if he was into
everyone's
D&D, he
Who-
would be amazing.
who doesn't like D&D?
Getting into character fitting.
he-
Has he tried it?
Yeah, he played like a couple times.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you guys I actually prefer Pathfinder.
Oh, I've never played Pathfinder.
Pathfinder is pretty cool. It's Pathfinder Second Edition is a cruel and terrible beast, but it's very interesting. It's just that you have to remember that anything higher level than you is going to kill you because the numbers are way too high. But if you
Isn't that the
Yes.
general rule anyway?
in Pathfinder, what you do is the monsters by default have added their level onto all of their saves and all of their defenses and all of their attacks. So a level 10 creature is going to have like a plus 20 to hit you.
I see.
And if you ever roll higher than, if you ever roll, like say if your AC is 17, if I rolled a 27, I would crit you. If I rolled anything that was equal to your AC plus 10, I would deal an automatic critical hit.
Oh, I see.
And critical hits are just,
It's fun.
yeah, it's really fun. And the rules for like character death and like getting wounded are a lot more like worrying in Pathfinder 2 because you end up just accumulating more wounded values. Each time you get downed, you gain a wound, and I'll have to explain it later. This is going to be a little while, but it's like, think of it as death saves, right?
Such of an
Yeah, if you think of it as death saves, in D&D 5, you get 3 death saves, death save failures, you die. In Pathfinder, each time you get downed, you start off at another failed death save. So like, let's say that you were downed once. The next time you get downed, you're considered to have already failed your first death save. And the second time you get downed, you've already failed 2 death saves.
sounds nice.
It's really tough. It's a fun game because there's a lot more crunchiness to it.
Yeah, that sounds cool, man.
So, Jack,
Yes.
is there any? You feel like you're more of an entrepreneur, right? You don't want to go work for other. Your goal is not to work for other companies, like big companies.
I wouldn't mind freelancing and like getting a lot of work done that way. Whatever money I get, I'd probably immediately use to pay off my student loans, and then I would put away and start investing and stuff, and then try to fund my own like endeavors. Yeah.
Do you get involved in other communities, 3D art communities?
I should do more, but I keep using the excuse of being in university and just say I'm a university student and it's taking up all of my time. If only I had more time to get involved, and then I just get laden with homework and do more 3D art stuff.
How did you find this server?
I found it because I went looking for communities for sharing like 3D art and doing character designs. I was really excited to learn from people who knew more about what I was doing than I did, and hope to have conversations like this happen eventually, even though I was too shy back then. But being called out and saying, hey, I really like your model, made me like the most happiest man I've ever been. It was a very proud moment for me, and I was super excited to come out here.
That's good. And what? Yeah, the question was my next question was that like, how did you? It's 2 questions. I want to ask you, and then I'll leave to you guys to talk about whatever. And then if you want to finish even before the time, it's up to you. It's you manage your own time. Like the first question is, what did you think about the event itself? Like, how did you think it helps you? And the second question is, um, like, it's actually three questions. The first question is, how did this event help you in any way? How do you feel that this server could help you with your promotion of your work, or even helping you in some way? And would you like to interact with other artists to create your projects and eventually like create new projects with games and etc.?
That's a lot of questions.
Hello? Yes, you got 18 minutes.
Are those for me or what?
Yes, for you.
Oh, I thought you were asking the server. I wasn't
no, it's yours,
listening
for
as
you.
much. Oh no.
How did you so
Okay.
how did you feel, first of all, how did you feel that this
Okay.
is, this event helped you, or what you feel about the event?
Mhm.
What do you think that the community can do for you in terms of the projecting your work and helping you grow? And how, would you like to, are you up to working with other artists from the community to develop your projects? The paid project, the game projects.
Yeah, that's it's a big yes to a lot of those. Like, working with you guys would be really cool because a lot of you dudes are super talented and awesome. It was awesome to have this call and be able to talk to you all. The other question, what can you guys do for me? I'm not sure, because I know that you dudes are all like I don't know what your skill sets are. I don't know like what to exactly expect from you dudes.
We're not talking about any of these people here specifically.
Okay.
We're talking about artists in the community. Like, if you find like some good matches for you in the community, if there is something that you will be looking for.
What I'm looking for is animators and people who know how to do like natural environments. Someone who could teach me how to do stuff in Unity or like Unreal to get like good shaders on like rocks and like ground surface textures would really help improve our scenes.
Yeah.
And someone
you need an environment artist. That's what you need. Yeah.
Right. Someone able to like, even if they are willing to like help out or work on something or share assets, that'd be excellent. I just can't really like pay things or contribute that much money because I'm still trying to look for work myself.
Yeah, but you are, as an entrepreneur, you will find those opportunities, right? To sell your work, right?
I think so. Yeah, that's hopefully the point.
Yeah. Any more questions? No.
Yeah, someone would
play D&D together.
Do you want to play D&D together? Is that Medusa?
Yeah.
All right. Who wants to DM? Because right now I'm really invested in another campaign that's happening bi-weekly, and I have to do a lot of animation stuff.
So I am planning on doing a one-shot.
Okay.
Somewhere next month. Some friends of mine. So I could just do that one-shot again.
All right. Which edition?
5th edition.
What game is this again? I never played it, I think.
It's D&D, like a tabletop RPG.
It's a
But
game.
it's online, right?
Right.
Oh, you play with your imagination, bro.
Yeah. How it works is basically like you make up a character following the rules of the game, and this character has a set of stats that help them achieve different things. You can make like a wizard who's has hopefully high intelligence and cast spells and stuff.
But there's a board, right?
There's a
Somewhere.
board.
Yes.
Where?
I'll be running mine with Roll20,
Right.
which is a website. So you'll be able to see a virtual board with.
Let me just say something to the Medusa. Let me say something to Medusa. Medusa, you're no one to talk about imagination because you use steroids for that, okay?
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Yes,
Not
don't
recording. Shut up.
Okay.
What aren't like shrooms steroids for the imagination or something? I don't know. Let's not talk about this anymore if it makes you uncomfortable.
I just want
Redhead.
I just wanted to defend my integrity. That's all. That's all I wanted to do.
Okay.
And ruin mine.
Now
Yeah.
you ruined yourself. I didn't do anything.
All right. I'm just scrolling through my portfolio to show the occasional stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
That,
is
that
like
Pokeball in 3D?
no,
Or
it's the
did you do that
Pokeball
on
in 2D. I drew that. This is
I know there's like some shaders that you can do that look like that.
I'll show that. I'm super proud of this one. All right. I had to design I designed a logo for one of my friends, friend, and the logo was of a Pokeball, and I tried modeling it, but I didn't really know how to use booleans yet, or how to get like a really good Pokeball shape yet. So I had a whole lot of trouble doing it until I eventually decided, you know what, this is way more trouble than it's worth. I'm just going to use circles and then rotate the circles to create the angle I want from a Pokeball. And then I did a whole bunch of fill layers and then painted that shadow tone in, and it looks really nice. This is sort of artwork I use for my board game designs as well.
It was
Very
wonderful. Beautiful Pokeball.
Right, and then the board game. Right, so
Yeah. Show us. Show this your game.
it doesn't really exist all that well. I didn't really get this out to market because it was a summer project that took too long, and then school started, and I wasn't committed enough to work on it throughout while doing schoolwork. But I'm going to show you the portfolio of work that I did for the board and stuff. Basically, this is an illustration that's meant to demonstrate the starting supplies for your gang. You would start off with 2 guns, which would be red tokens. You'd have 3 mook tokens. So I made 1, 2, 3 dudes, and then you'd have like 6 assets of food, and so I wrote like 3 items of food, and then 1 can of gas. But the deal is that you need all these to help you navigate the board and like zip around and avoid traps. And then this one. All right. And then this is a character design for one of the bosses in the game, like one of the playable characters. I wanted to make sure that there was like the pink one, but have like the pink token be like really cool and like pretty badass looking. And I found that yes, it is a successful design, and like most of the time we play with like women, they pick her. But then this is like illustration of the board, and this is like one of the characters discovering a can of food. This is just like I wanted this like very inky style and make it pretty dramatic and able to be made into print art. So that's why I did this. It was drawn and then brought into Illustrator to get made into like vector art. I learned a lot because this was made 3 years ago. So if I was going to be approaching the design for this board again, I would probably make the design a lot clearer than I did here. But it would do pretty well, I think, because I managed to sell like 17 of the prototype copies, and the number changes every time I say it because I don't really keep good records. But I've sold.
Or you're lying.
What?
Or you're lying about the numbers.
No.
I'm joking.
I've sold a whole bunch. I know the stack is a lot smaller than it used to be.
That's good,
That's
man.
awesome, the idea.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's Catan on wheels with guns. It'll do great, and it's played in a pizza box.
That's cool.
Yeah. This is the character I've been modeling for a long time now. I drew her in 2019. She's a extreme amount of work, and I want to make sure that she's done like well enough to go in the portfolio. But the amount of time it takes me to make her is not lined up with the rate I'm getting better at making art. So I keep getting slowed down by trying to improve what I've done for her, and it's not a good thing. But the next thing upload might be her. It depends. It might also be a robot model that I made earlier.
So are you planning to do any more board games?
Any more board games?
Yeah.
I would do art for more board games, and if I had an idea for a board game, I'd work on it. I might also want to work on like role-playing games and stuff, to make like adventures and things for other RPGs. Like I might make more. I might write more adventures for Pathfinder or for D&D, and try to sell those or more magic items. I think that has like an existing market already.
Would you create a 3D version of that board game that you did before?
Yes, I would.
Like, because I play Monopoly on my iPad, and it's that's exactly a translation from the original game into
like
an iPad or computer. So that would be a good thing for you to do.
I'd really love to make into 3D. I even have a little bit of a project board of assets to make for the 3D version already. I just haven't gotten around to getting any of it done.
I've also seen a lot of like people doing board game stuff in VR. Like there's Settlers of Catan in VR.
Right. Yeah.
And Dungeons and Dragons in VR. So
yeah, it's a super cool thing to get into.
To do that.
If any of you dudes feel like helping out with that, that would be pretty sweet. But we'll have to play D&D first.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh no, not more D&D.
Oh no, not more D&D, said no one ever. All right.
Maybe with a little bit of help of Medusa, I could play.
Okay.
I mean, I've only played like one D&D game, but I've watched like plenty of stuff about it. It's really cool, and it's like it's an amazing way to be able to like put yourself into different situations and like learn like how to be creative and like it's just really good creative outlet.
I think we are good to go, and I can probably end it here. If I want, I don't think I got around to sending or showing out how I did the 3D settings and the rendering techniques within Sketchfab yet for the imp. If you want to see anything else there, because I can kind of show you how to make your assets get their best showing in Sketchfab.
Oh yeah.
Right. So this model I worked on, I made a week ago, but he already has like 88 views, and not all of them are from me, which is the important thing. And the tricks to that is that I've probably absolutely overloaded the number of tags he has because I wanted people to see him.
That doesn't work for me. They don't see my work yet, even if I put full of text.
Right. Okay. But the second most important thing is that I've tried to make his thumbnail as like identifiable as possible. So you can see it, like you see the first thing in the thumbnail is his face, and it's like a very like close zoom on it, which I think builds like immediate curiosity, especially because of the bright colors and the contrast in his model with the background. And the background color settings in Sketchfab are kind of hidden a bit. They're out of the way, but they are found. Let's find out. Because like I was saying, it's out of the way and a little hard to find. But it's if you go to the gear tab, what you want to do is find the background, and you can set it to image. But if you aren't a paid subscriber to Sketchfab, you have to have a new one, or you can. If you aren't a paid subscriber to Sketchfab, you have to use one of the pre-made ones. And using an image also prevents you from using depth of field for some reason. You can set it to environment, which will take the environment that you used. And if you go to lighting, this is how you adjust your environment. If you want to bring in your own environment, you'll also have to pay for the Sketchfab membership. It's annoying. But if you want to just use a color, and I think that colors are a lot more, there's something much more simple, and they present your models much more clearly if you're just using like a single flat color that helps them see the model and doesn't bring any attention elsewhere, because it keeps the focus right where it belongs. And I made it black for this guy because it helps him. He has a palette that's just slightly below half. So if he was like a black or like a dark tone model, I might have him on like white or also gray maybe. But here, contrast is key. So to set up our lighting systems, we want to make sure we're using the photographer's method of lighting, where we have like a bounce light down below. We have a side light from the side, just to kind of fill in the rim light for him. And we have our top light that's sort of like a dull sky tone from up top here. It's important that the bounce light be kind of in the same color family as the skylight, because it will help it feel more natural. But you can increase the values of your light and see how that looks. You can then turn on different post-processing filters. And post-processing is very important. I think the most important things to use is sharpness, because it helps get things like scales and small details a lot more visible. Bloom can be hit or miss. It depends if you're using emissive or not, or if you're using a very bright teeth. But if you set your bloom, you can make sure that the threshold is down low enough that it doesn't cause everything else to get washed out. Because it's based on...
It would be good for a Colgate ad.
It would be
nice.
He has this like beautiful pair of yellow chompers. Right. And then screen space ambient occlusion. You can't go wrong with it. You just dial it up, and then it adds a lot more intensity and shade. This model even has let's check this out. Model inspector. Right, let's turn this down. He has, he's got a whole bunch of new maps. He's got subsurface scattering. The Sketchfab like window and editor is very intricate and detailed. It has a whole bunch of maps, but the trouble is that you can't submit anything in a packed texture format. They all have to be grayscale and bitmaps, so they aren't color, or if they aren't color or emissive. But this is where his ears come in and how he gets his nice brightness in them. I think at this point we are good to go. We've hit the 2 o'clock mark.
Yes, I have a few things to finish to wrap it up.
Right.
I think for everything I've seen, you're a very interesting artist, a person. I think you're talented, and you have, if you put the work into it like you did until now, I think you have. Everyone needs a bit of luck, but I think you have a good future on this industry. You can count with the support from our community to help you grow. You will never get stuck technically, because we'll always provide with for like the solutions for you. Sometimes an artist gets stuck and it's very frustrating, so we always help you with that. If you want to work, I know we do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a...
Oh, sorry. My dad's on the phone upstairs. It makes the internet really good out. I'm having trouble hearing you.
Yeah. Have you got connection?
I think I didn't. My dad's on the phone. It makes the internet slow down. Mm-hmm. We'll talk more. Okay.
And
No, I can't hear anything. I'm really sorry. I'm gonna have to stop streaming probably. All right. So stop the recording here. This went really nicely until the end, but okay.